Let me show you how I achieved this look using no foundation. But before I get started, I want to go ahead and say to go ahead and wash your face with your regular skincare routine. I don't use any prepping lotions, none of that. So stay tuned. Let's get started. First, we're going to start with the brows. We're going to brush them all the way up in the direction I want them to go. So they should look like this. And then I'm going to take my Maybelline's the final line. This is from the dollar store. I'm going to underline each brow. Really light strokes, y'all. Please don't get carried away because that's when you start messing up. And don't blame your brows on me. And it should look like this. You're going to do the same thing to the top. Look like you touched them in together. I haven't filled them in. All I did was underline the top and the bottom with really light strokes. Please don't overdo it. And I'm going to take the same brush I used to brush them up. That's how I'm going to fill them in. And not too much on my brush because I use it a lot. You just want to fill the brows in so they can look more natural, not dark, unless you like dark lashes. To each his own. Not me. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other side. So they should look like this. Not filled in with a dark pencil, just brushed. And I brush up when I'm doing it. Up and kind of like swirling it a little bit just to fill it in. That's it. And then I'm going to use this angled brush. I'm going to be using my Morphe shade Rich 26. And I'm going to go under the eye really light. And when I do this, it's just to go ahead and give it that shape that I desire. So however you like your brows, whatever shape you want them to go in, that's what you do. That's your business. I like mine with a high arch, so that's what I'm going to get. And this will also help if you haven't had your eyebrows waxed like me. It's going to help do the job until you're able to go get them waxed. How unfortunate my microphone died at the time like this, but yeah, I'm showing y'all that this is how I do my eyebrows. You can do them how you want to, but this is the way that I do them, but they should be twins but not identical. And then after that, we're going to go in with my Fenty Beauty shade 325. And we're going to fill in the under the eyes, the forehead, the chin, and go down the ridge of the nose and at the top of your lip. I think it's called the Cupid's bow. Don't quote me on that, but this is what I call it. Then we're going to go in with that beauty blender. And then I'm going to spray it with some setting spray. That one's from the dollar store as well. And then we're going to pinch it like that. And then we're going to dab it under the eyes. And then we're going to go under the chin. And then we're going to go on top of the forehead. And then I'm going to go down the nose. Now, when I get to that forehead area, I go in like a little rainbow motion while I'm still patting it. And when you patting it in there, make sure you're trying to blend it into your skin. So whenever it's time to set the face, you won't see the lighter areas in there. Don't forget the area above the top of your lip. That's the one I said. I think it's called the Cupid's bow. We're going to go into our darker shade. I think that's Espresso by Morphe. We're going to put one line on the sides of our faces, right across the top of our forehead. And then we're going to go in with our angled contour brush and really flick the dark areas where we added it in. And I'm going to flick it to make it blend into where the lighter contour is. And then I'm going to go around the eye area, around the forehead area, and make sure we blend this in really good because we don't want any lines of demarcation. Now it's time to get into the nose area, and I'm just gonna flick it up and down to even out my nose. I don't want a skinny nose, but I don't want it to look like it's the widest nose, and I'm gonna go straight under the nose. After that, I'm going in with my Morphe setting powder in shade Banana. And then we're going to take the triangle sponge, dab a little bit on there, and we're going to go under the eyes. The same areas that we did the light contour is the same areas that we're going to put that setting powder right up under the eyes, the forehead, the chin, and the nose. So don't forget that area. And while it bakes like that, I usually put on my lashes, and then I'm going to come back and blend it all in together. So I got my lashes on, and no, I do not like them big dookie lashes. I'm going to go in with my contouring brush. Some people like to use the triangle, but that's not for me. Some of y'all do. But I'm going to go in and dab in the area, and I'm pressing in the powder the same way that I used it with the sponge little thingy. I'm going to go at the chin area, just dabbing it all in, mixing it all in, because again, we don't want to see any signs of demarcation. And if you ever feel like you put too much light or too much dark, just go back in with whatever color that you use too much of. Go in with the opposite color and just go all the way around and blend it in to where it looks how you want it to look. Like I keep saying, we do not want any lines of demarcation. That means we do not want any lines to show where our makeup is unblended, because that ain't cute. So yeah, and once I'm done blending everything together, I like to turn the lights off just to make sure I'm not too light, because you never know when it's time to take a picture and they got the flash on and then you're gonna be looking ghost face, and that's not cute. But that's how I look. Then I'm going with my E.L.F blush. I think that's in berry, but it's very, very pigmented, so you only want to put one dot there and one dot there. That's it. That's all. Don't overdo it. Or maybe you can, but that's your business. And then I'm going to go in with my blush brush, and I'm literally going to pat it in and dab it to the areas that I want it to show in. I like it on my cheeks and a little bit above the eyes. And then I'm going to let you see both sides. One side is blended. And you see how I only used a little bit? A little bit goes a long way. So whatever you like is your preference. Face already tea, and I ain't even done yet. Last but not least, I'm going to go in with my translucent powder in the shade closest to my complexion, and I don't use a lot. I just use a little bit, and this is going to make everything come together. So it doesn't matter if you're too heavy-handed, it's going to all blend together. After that, make sure you grab your setting spray, and then that should be the final look. If you like this tutorial, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Bye.